Hello, everybody, and welcome to Langer's Legion. I'm Langer, and today we're talking Marvel Champions. So let's get into it. So for those that aren't familiar with Marvel Champions is an LCG or living card game made by Fantasy Flight Games that, of course, involves the world's mightiest heroes against the world's mightiest villains, or galaxies for that matter, if you're talking about the Marvel Universe. And it's something I decided to pick up in between, my core Star Wars gameplay between Star Wars Legion and Star Wars Unlimited. Mostly because, I'm just a big Marvel fan, been reading the comics since the 80s and even played the RPG desktop dice game way back in the day. But also that it's a very flexible game that it can be played 1 to 4 players. So when I just want to, roll out my mat, maybe play a single player game, or maybe I play as multiple heroes, I don't have to find, somebody to play with, basically. Because with Legion, obviously that takes a lot more time and a lot more space. SWU's a little bit more organized. So this was just something I decided to take a look at, and I've been playing several games of it, and quite honestly, I'm pretty hooked. So I thought I would spend some time doing basically a teaching game or a how to play video, and that's kind of where we are right now. So Marvel Champions kind of has 3 main, I don't want to say phases because I use that for other things, but 3 main segments, I guess. I don't know, lack of a better word. There's like the setup phase where you basically have to get all of this stuff put together to play, which we're going to go through. And then there's the phases of the actual gameplay, which is a hero phase, then a villain phase, hero phase, villain phase, rinse and repeat until either the heroes beat the villain or the villain beats its scheme or the villain wins, right? And it's basically a constant back and forth until one of those 2 things happen. So there's the setup and then there's the actual gameplay. So thought I would just spend some time doing a pretty basic setup with a basic game of Spider-Man versus Rhino. I mean, everybody knows and probably loves Spider-Man. And Rhino from the core box is the easiest villain that is included. So it's a great kind of way to just kind of learn the game. And in the core box, there are 3 villains included. You get Rhino, Claw, and Ultron. And you get 4 heroes. You get She-Hulk, Spider-Man, of course, like I already talked about, Iron Man, and the Black Panther. So it's a great way to get into the game for a good price. You get 4 heroes, you get 3 villains. And of course, there's hero packs. There's just tons of extra stuff to purchase for this game. They've got campaigns, they've got scenario packs. I think all together between individual hero packs and this, the campaign boxes, I think they're up to like 50 or 55 heroes, of course, with more coming. So I'm pretty sure your favorite Marvel hero is out there, as well as probably your favorite Marvel villain. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera for the top down, and let's dive into really the first phase, or the first segment, which is really the setup phase. So looking at the top down, we've got our play mat. I've got a couple of things, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick our identity. And in this case, I picked Peter Parker, or AKA Spider-Man. So, of course, like I said, you've got Black Panther, you've got She-Hulk, you've got other ones in the core box. So when you look at the hero card, you've got 2 sides. You have the alter ego side, which is Peter Parker, and he's got some text for what he can do, and he's got this recovery, which lets him heal on when you were on this side, as well as you've got your hero side with your basic, I don't want to say attacks, but your basic abilities, I guess. You've got your thwart, you've got your attack, and you got your defense, and Spider-Man has some text down here, as well as when he's engaged in combat. We'll get into that when the player phase. The other thing to pay attention to is on each side of the card, you're going to have a hand size. So on the alter ego side for Spider-Man, or for Peter Parker, he can have a hand size of 6 cards for your player hand. But on Spidey's side, he can have a hand size of 5, right? So depending on what side you're on, and as you get into strategy of the game, maybe you want more cards, so you kind of quote unquote flip down to your alter ego, whereas maybe you want to actually do some damage, do some attacking, you flip up to get into your hero mode. But again, you get to limit your hand size. But the other thing to notice is on both sides, of course, you've got the hit point tally, and it's pretty small, but Peter Parker, or AK Spider-Man, he starts the game with 10 hit points. So the game does give you all these different, cardboard counters that, for damage or, thwarting and all these other things. I've gone the dice route. That is just my feelings on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set Spider-Man, his health to 10. and I'm going to work down, so 10 down to hopefully never to 0, but that's where we'll go. So we've got our identity, we've set the hit points. Next thing we need to do is we need to put together our player deck. And your player deck is made up of a couple of different sets of cards. The first being your hero deck. So every hero is going to have a set of cards that you have to include in your deck hand, right? So we've got Spider-Man's cards here, and I can tell that because I've got the happy little Spider-Man face down here in the bottom right. So there are 15 of these cards for Spider-Man. So these will go right here. We will include those. Now, when it comes to your hand size, the minimum amount of cards you can have is 40 and the maximum is 50. So obviously the lower the amount, the better odds of pulling a specific card. But as you get into building your own decks, there might be a reason you want, let's say 42 cards as opposed to 40. Your mileage may vary. The next thing to consider is we've got our aspect cards. Now, there are 4 aspects in Marvel Champions. You've got Justice, which is these yellow cards. You've got Aggression, which is red. You've got Leadership, which is blue. And you've got Protection, which is green. And obviously, the aspects and the colors kind of follow a theme, right? So Justice is more about thwarting, threat off the schemes. Aggression is obviously more about doing damage. Protection is like kind of healing or protecting your allies or your hero. And leadership is more about, rereading and like being a leader and directing your heroes to victory. So I'm using what's called a pre-con or a pre-constructed deck, which is all listed in this in the core box in this learn to play guide. Basically, they give you for all 4 heroes kind of like a set build to use, and for Spider-Man they give you this Justice one. So it's not necessarily the greatest deck from what I'm playing with, but to keep everything consistent, if you're following along when you pick up the core box, I'm leaving it that way. But anyways, we're adding these yellow cards to our hand. The next up is what's called basic cards, and these are not aspect specific cards. They're just more cards to fill out your hand. And you'll notice that they've kind of got this like gray color, as you'll see on here. And there's resource cards, which we'll get into. There's ally cards like Mockingbird. There's event cards, upgrade cards, so on and so forth, right? So there's different things within the basic cards that are going to be included in everybody's deck as well, just to augment your hero cards as well as your aspect cards. So we'll go ahead and put those in here. And that will make up my hero deck, or my player deck, whichever way you want to think about it. Now, when it comes to your hero, though, there are additional cards to think about that go into your what's called the encounter deck, which is basically the scenario or the card you're going to be playing against. First is the obligation card. Now, every hero is going to have an obligation card, which is like a gotcha card that you're going to potentially have to deal with or address throughout your hands and playing. So for Peter Parker or Spider-Man, we have this eviction notice card, and it basically says if I'm in alter ego mode or Peter Parker, I have to exhaust him and discard this card, or to discard this card. Or if I'm in hero mode, I need to discard a card from my hand, and then I can remove this card from play. So it's kind of like it's a tax. It's a thing to work around, and every hero is going to have one of these. So that will go in our encounter deck. I guess one thing I should comment on, you'll notice the player cards have this blue back, and counter cards have this kind of orangey yellow, and these are Gamegenic sleeves, but that's what the card backs look like. The next thing that's going to come with every hero that you have to have, and this is set aside, is your Nemesis deck. And these are your heroes, arch nemesis or villains that you might have to face. And in this instance, we've got the Vulture for Spider-Man. Now, you have to draw a specific card in the encounter deck to put these into play. So that's why these get set aside. But just know that you need to have them. And they're going to have the minion cards, so the actual villain himself. They're going to have a scheme card, and then they're going to have some associated other cards that will go in your encounter deck. So for this, though, we will set those aside for now. And then we're basically good with hero setup, right? So we've got our player deck, we've got the obligation out, we've got our Nemesis card. So I'll go ahead and just kind of shuffle these up just real quick. I won't bore you all too much with this. I might even drop this in the edit. So got that. So we've got our cards. I'll drop them into our little holder over here. Now, the last thing to make sure you've got is your counters. Like I showed you the cardboard ones. but there's status counters in the game, so it's tough, confused, and stunned, and we'll get into those as the game progresses. Like I said, I don't use the cardboard counters that come with the game. I use these dice. I ordered these off of Kingdom Come Cards. These are great because I like dice, but the game does come with these other dials and such if you want to use those for hit points and whatnot. So we've got all that done. Heroes ready to go. Now it's basically select the scenario or select the villain that we're going to face. And like I said, for this one, we're going to fight the Rhino. So we'll pull out the Rhino cards and you get, there's going to be 3 cards. They're going to say 1, 2, and 3 in that upper right-hand corner. And then you're going to have the main scheme or the scenario card. And notice that there's 2 sides to it. There's a 1A, which is kind of like, not quite black and white, but kind of this black and white. And then you have a full color side on 1B. So when you pick it, you're going to start with 1A, and you're going to basically read what the setup is for your scenario. And it says Rhino 1 and Rhino 2, or Rhino 2 and Rhino 3 instead for expert. Rhino and standard encounter sets. 1 modular encounter set recommended, which is bomb scare. So I'll pull that out. And I'm going to now kind of talk about what each of that says, and then we'll flip over to 1B. So when you have your hero, or your villains, excuse me, you've got 3 cards. Like I said, you got 1, 2, and 3. And if you're playing standard mode, you use the 1 and 2 cards. Basically, you have to defeat Rhino twice. You defeat the 1 side, and then you play a stronger version of him on the 2 side, let's say. And as you can see, he's got some text here about when he gets revealed, some other stuff happens. But this is basically how you increase the difficulty of the scenario. So for this game, since it's a teaching game, we're starting out, we're going to start with 1 and 2. But if you're more experienced, you're more advanced, maybe you do the expert mode or something harder. So you start with 2 and 3, and you notice, like you can see here, Rhino on phase 1, he's a 1 and 2 attack, but on 3, he's a 1 and 4, right? So obviously this is a way to increase the difficulty of the game based off your skill set, or if maybe you're playing with multiple players, again, you can play up to 4. But just know that that's why there's those 3 cards. Now, it said once we have that figured out, grab the modular encounter, bomb scare, which is this. Again, this is another set of encounter cards. Again, they're orange backings to add to your deck to add more complexity or more challenges to your encounter, your scenario. So with bomb scare, it says, when revealed, add threat, which we'll get into. But it also has this, what's called an acceleration icon. So if this card is out, every villain phase, we're going to add additional threat to the scheme, which is how the villain wins the game. When the villain reaches a limit on scheme, game is over. So this is a card that you don't want to see because it's just going to make it harder. And of course, it includes some other cards. It's got some treachery cards. It's got some minion cards that you might have to face. But if you pull this out, this gets added to the game state. But for now, it says to put that in the encounter deck. So we'll just put those with our orange cards right here. And then it says to flip it over. This is basically saying you're going to start the game. And like I said, it says if this stage is completed, the player loses the game. And notice for single player, because we've got the meeple sign here, the one, the player per player sign, I'm playing single player. So it's 7. If it was 2 player, it'd be 14, 3, 21, so on and so forth. It starts at 0. Notice the little 0 icon here. And then it says, again, if we were playing 1 player, I add 1 threat per round to it. But again, if we were playing multiple players, you would add more. 2 players would be 2, so on and so forth. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll add that. So to fill out the rest of the encounter deck, just like the hero deck, all the villains are going to come with a set of cards as well. So Rhino comes with 21. Well, actually, it's 18 because you have the 3 cards for himself, but 18 additional cards. That guy, again, got the yellow back or the orange back, and they're going to go into your encounter deck. And there's stuff in there for him attacking. He gets add-ons like an ivory horn and stuff like that. Just stuff to make it, make him stronger, make it do more damage or hit you twice, so on and so forth. So I'll just shuffle this up while I'm talking. And then finally, just like the basic cards for your hero deck, there are some standard cards, encounter cards, that every scenario is going to use for the encounter deck, right? Now, there's 7 of these, and some of them make you draw cards, or make the villain draw cards, or add scheme, so on and so forth. But again, back to that level 3 or that more difficult expert scenario, there's additional cards, basic cards for expert mode that you would add, but these are just for the standard mode. So we add all these in here. I'll shuffle them up real quick, just so we have the encounter deck ready to go. And then we'll kind of be ready, almost ready, to actually get into our first player phase. So we've got those set up or shuffled up. So we'll put those in there. And then Rhino, like I said, he starts with 14 hit points. So let's put 10, 5, 10, and 14 on him, right? So villain set, Spidey set. Now we just need to draw our cards to end the setup phase. So Spidey gets, or Peter Parker, I should say, he gets six cards. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've pulled a Power of Justice, Enhanced Spider Senses, an Energy card, a Backflip, Surveillance Team, and Interrogation Room. So a couple things we're going to cover right here real fast, or additionally. So as you'll see in some of these cards in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a number, right? So we got a 1, we got a 2. That's how much it will cost in resources to pay to play that card. And every card, unless some text or icons say otherwise, count as one resource. So if I wanted to use Interrogation Room to pay for one of the, one part of the surveillance, this would be one resource. But if you look at some of the other cards that I drew, like the Power of Justice, it says double the number of resources this card generates while paying for a Justice card. So if I wanted to pay or play this card, the Surveillance Team, I could play the Power of Justice, and since I'm doing a yellow, it would count for 2, and I can play that game from a resource perspective. Now, additionally, there are cards in the game that are Energy, Strength, Genius, and for some reason the other one is escaping my mind, but they are double resource cards, right? So this actually counts for 2 regardless of what card type I'm going to play. So that's something to know about. And like Black Panther, he's got some cards that count for resources as well, a Vibranium card. So anyways, just know that that's how the economy of the card play works, right? So you pay for cards, or like Backflip, which is 0, you don't pay anything for, but just know that's how you pay to play your cards. So I drew these cards. Let's take a look at Backflip is great. Power of Justice is good. Surveillance Team, Spidey, the Energy, and the Interrogation Room. So at this point, I can actually take a mulligan to start the game. I can discard 1 card, or I can discard up to all of these cards and draw a new hand, but I don't think I'm going to do that, especially since I've got the double aspect. So I'm going to draw that. I'm going to keep the Power of Justice and the Surveillance Team because Spider-Man himself is actually bad at removing threat. So this is just going to give me an extra way of removing threat. So I think that's going to be important. Interrogation Room, I'm not too worried about. Actually, what we'll do is, we're just actually going to keep all these. We're going to keep all these. We're going to see how this goes. Okay. So no mulligan, no nothing. We're good to go. So we've got our cards. Now, if on some scenarios, villains, or even heroes, there might be some additional setup text like in the body of the card that you might need to take care of to finalize the setup of the game. But since we don't have that for the scenario, for Rhino, or for Peter Parker, we're basically ready to go to the next phase, which is our beginning of the actual game. So we're going into our first player phase of the game. So let's see what we got. We've got a couple cards here. I think what we're going to do is, I think right off the bat, we are going to play the Power of Justice to give us that two resource, and we're going to play Surveillance Team. So I kind of keep my upgrades in one line and my support in another line. And this basically says when enter plays, give it 3 counters, and when they're gone, discard the card. But each action, or each time I exhaust the card, I can remove a threat from the scheme. So I'm just going to use these green dice that I have. So I'll put 3 there. And then let's see. Now, Peter Parker has a great thing is he can actually generate a single resource. So we're going to use Peter Parker's ability. Actually, no, we can do that. So we're going to spend Peter Parker to play Interrogation Room, which basically means after I defeat a minion, I can exhaust this card and remove a threat from a scheme. Backflip doesn't cost anything. Hero interrupt. I think we're just going to sit tight with these three. I don't know. We're going to sit tight for those three. So that will be there. We've got no threat to remove. I think what we're going to do is we're going to flip up to Spider-Man. And then I think we're just going to swing into Rhino. We've got nothing else to do. So Spider-Man attacks for 2. So we'll just take 2 from Rhino. We would exhaust him. I've got nothing else to play. So now we need to draw up. Now Spider-Man only has 5 cards, not 6 like Peter Parker. So I need to draw 2. So we get Great Responsibility. And we get a Swinging Web Kick, which is a great card. It's a way of doing 8 damage. So we've got that done. Put all this out. I'll just leave these cards faced up so folks can see them. We ready everything up. Okay. And we pretty much at this point now go to the villain phase. So the villain phase acts 2 different ways depending on if your alter ego is up or if your hero side is up. So since our hero side is up, we'll start there. So you will basically attack me. So Rhino has an attack of 2, but every villain, unless noted otherwise, like the Claw has something different, you pull a card from the encounter deck, and this is their boost card. And I have to now make the decision of, do I want to defend? Do I want the attack to go through? If I had an ally, I could have the ally defend. But since I'm sitting on this backflip card, I'm actually just going to, no matter what this card is, I'm just going to play it. But the thing to call out is it says, let's see if we can get it up there. It says interrupt, right? So if a card says interrupt, you can play it during whatever phase or whatever action is taking place, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be during your player phase. So this says interrupt defense. So I know he's going to attack. I want to spin this. It costs 0, so I don't take any damage. Rhino is going to flip his card, and he gets +1 to boost. So that's what we're going to talk about here. So the villains get to pull a boost card, and based off this little lower right-hand section, you're going to have these little triangles. And from what I've seen so far, it can either be 1, 2, or 3, or it can be a star. If it's just these little triangles, that's just in addition to their attack. So he attacks for 2, +1 would be 3. I did the backflip, so I'm not going to take any damage. The other side of this is if it's the star icon, that means there's going to be text like in the body of the card that's going to have something for you to do. Draw a card, get stunned, I don't know, something like that. But just know that you've got icons down here that during the boost phase are going to dictate or add to the attack or cause some sort of other action to take place. And the boost icon is also valid for when you're in alter ego mode. Because when you're in alter ego mode, the villain doesn't attack you, but he does scheme, which is this 1 in the blue kind of POW sign up here, which is basically how he's going to add threat to the scheme. But since I'm not in alter ego mode, he's going to attack me. We do 3. We do a backflip, and we're going to get out of it. Now, one thing I did forget to do, so we're going to do it now, is at the beginning of the phase, I do need to add the 1 threat per this icon to the main scheme. So I should have done that first. So going forward, I'll correct that. But it did the backflip. We missed the attack. So Rhino's good. So he's done. The next thing we do is now I draw an encounter card for my hero. So this isn't an attack, but something that just goes directly to the hero. So what did we get? So I pulled out an advance, a treachery. It says when revealed, the villain schemes, right? So the villain is now going to scheme on the main scheme. So he is going to add +1 because that's his scheme value. And we're going to take that to a 2. And that is the villain phase. Now, if we were playing with multiple heroes, it would go to the next hero. The hero would do their thing. The villain would attack, and so on and so forth until you went through everybody, and then a new round would basically begin. So that's kind of how it would work if we had multiple players. But since we're doing one-on-one, that's basically into let's call it round 1. So now it's our turn. Let's see, what do we want to do? So we look at our cards. We've got this Swinging Web Kick sitting right here, which is great. So we're going to spend the energy, which is going to give me 2 resources. I'm going to actually spend this Great Responsibility to make a 3. And I'm going to play Swinging Web Kick, which lets me do 8 damage. So we're going to hit good old Rhino for 8. So 2, 7, 8. Taking him down to 4. We're going to go ahead and spend one of the surveillance team tokens and exhaust that to remove a threat. So we'll take that down to 1. And then good old Spidey will just go ahead and attack for 2, take him down to 2. And I think that's pretty much what we're going to do. So we'll draw our cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another backflip is great. So we'll take that. We'll ready up Spider-Man, and then we'll go to the villain phase. So for villain phase, we'll increase the threat again. So we'll +1 to 2. Rhino, I'm still in the hero phase, so he's going to attack. So we'll pull a boost card. I do have another backflip. You know, I think we're just going to use it. So let's pull it out. Yeah, so he's got a boost of 2, so I would have taken 4, but again, I've got the backflip, so I take nothing. But, and I didn't do this last round, so this is a good reminder. Every time Spider-Man is attacked, he has an interrupt that says, when a villain initiates attack against you, draw a card. So I didn't do this last round, so that's my bad. But obviously, Rhino just attacked me, so I'm going to draw another card. I get a Helicarrier, which is great, because that helps with the game's economy by making cards cost less. So we're looking good. We're looking good. So let's take our encounter card. And what's it say? Oh, wow. Again, it says the villain schemes. So he's going to take us up to 3. Okay. And that is the Rhino's turn. So let's go to our turn. I didn't ready that up. So we've got Helicarrier, which is a great economy card because it lets me reduce the cost of cards. And then I have Avengers Mansion for a cost 4, which lets me draw an additional card. But notice they're cost 4 and cost 3, so you got to pay to play there. So what do we want to do? I think, I really don't want to lose the Helicarrier or Avengers Mansion. So we're going to pay 3. So we'll discard those up here. And we're going to get the Helicarrier down, basically leaving us with the Avengers Mansion. We're going to pop Surveillance Team, take that down to 2 to 1. We'll remove that to 2 from 3 to 2. And, you know, we're doing pretty good here. So we're going to have Spidey just swing in and attack Rhino and take him out. So we took Rhino 1 from 14 to 0, so he is now off the board. But now what we got is Rhino 2. And what it says here is, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the break-in and take-in side scheme and reveal it, shuffle the encounter deck. And notice this Rhino is a little stronger, so he's a 1-3 as opposed to a 1-2, and he has 15 hit points as opposed to 14. So let's go ahead and get the damage counters down. And we need to find the break-in and take-in. So we'll look through here. It's bomb scare, break-in and take-in. And it says, when revealed, place an additional 1 threat per player here. It starts with a default of 2, so we'll take that to 3. And it's got the what's called the hazard icon, which means now instead of getting 1 encounter card on my hero, I'm going to get 2 per phase until I clear that card off the board. So we're going to finish shuffling these up. We're going to drop that in there, and then we'll put our 3 threat. Let's kind of just move things around to get things more on the board here. And we'll get that going like so. Okay. So it's still our turn because that was just, all of that was because we hit him for 2 from Spidey. We're sitting at 10 health. We've got nothing left to do here. Let's go ahead. We got 2 threat. I think we're okay in that regard. He's going to smack us though, I bet, for this round, but let's drop to our hand size 3, 4, and then 5. So we got a swinging web kick and a Nick Fury. That's some really good cards. They're just really expensive. So we're going to ready up. And let's see. We are now... So we'll go to villain phase. Take that from 2 to 3. He's going to pull his boost card. What do I got here? I got nothing. Nothing from a defensive perspective. We could probably take a decent punch to the face here. 3. Because if I defend, I've got to exhaust him. You know what? Just for gameplay value, we're going to go ahead and defend, which means with Spider-Man, he's got a defense of 3. So whatever the attack number is, I'm going to reduce that by 3 and then take whatever is left over. So let's flip this over. And I'm tough, but there's no boost icons. So Rhino would have hit me for 3. I'm defending for 3, so nothing comes through. So I guess not too bad. That's good. And then we'll get our 2 encounter cards. Remember, we get the 1 normal and then 1 from the side scheme. So we'll flip this over. Oh man, we got another side scheme. So we get crowd control. Does not have anything about increasing the threat when it comes out. So it's going to start with 2. But what it does say is while this scheme is in play, you cannot remove threat from the main scheme. So I have to clear these 2 before I can start getting these 2. So I'm dealing with a lot of threat going on here and how I'm going to handle that going forward. So we'll see it. We're going to see how this takes place. And now we need to flip the other encounter card. Oh my gosh. Which is the Shadows of the Past. This is going to bring my Nemesis card into play. So let's get out. And this is a tough day for Spider-Man. So we'll bring out Vulture. And then he has a scheme card as well. So we'll put this just over here because we're filling up the board. And it basically says I need to add at random a discarded card there to the scheme. And then when it's defeated, I'll get it back. The other thing to notice is it's got a plus icon. So for an acceleration. So now instead of 1 threat per round with this out here, I'm going to add 2 per round. So I do like, because now I've got a lot of stuff out here I got to remember. I'm going to put that out here. Just remember I need to do a +1. I'm going to draw or discard a card. So let's shuffle these up. And I'm not looking. And then I'm going to discard, put this down here. And I didn't draw a card for when Rhino attacked. Again, my bad. But the Vulture, when he comes in, he's got what's called Quick Strike. So he gets to comes in, but then he's also going to attack me for 3. So that's going to take me down to 7. But since he did attack Spider-Man, I'll remember to pull a card. And I got Web Shooters, which is great because that's going to give me some economy here. And now I need to add Vulture's cards to the deck. Shuffle these together. We'll do one more for good measure. Man, that was a rough round. This is not looking good. Not looking good. Okay, so it's player turn. We are exhausted because we did defend. So we're kind of set there. We got... Okay, so we got a couple good cards here. So what are we going to do? We got Nick Fury for an ally. We got Avengers Mansion. Got Haymaker for some damage. For Justice for some thwarting. And Web Shooter for some defense. So we're going to go ahead and pop Helicarrier to make Web Shooters basically free. And that's going to give us some resources to spend. We will... I don't like any of these out here. Actually, I need to put 3 on him. Almost forgot. Man, I got a lot to clear here. Okay. I think we're going to, so we popped him. We're going to use this, and we're going to use Haymaker to make it equal to 2. And it says here, remove 3 threat from a scheme thrower if you use a genius resource. I'm not. So I'm only going to be able to do 3, but that's fine because I think I'm going to clear... we're going to clear the main scheme, but I'm going to clear Break-In and Take-In because I want this off the field, right? So that's going to limit the encounter cards that are going to come in. So that's good. So we just got this crowd control to deal with. And got 2 4-cost cards that I can't really do anything with. So we're just going to exhaust Surveillance Team and remove its last token. To remove 1, we'll take crowd control down to 1. I feel like I should flip down, but man, that's going to go to 5. I can't flip down. I probably should have played Nick Fury. That was a mistake. I probably should have played Nick Fury, but it is what it is. If I flip down, he's going to scheme 3, 6. Okay. We'll ready up or draw up. So 3, 4, 5. And then we're just going to ready up. Let's see, got nothing we can do with any of these. Well, I guess I can do this. We might do the enhanced spider sense just to, we get a treachery card. Okay, so we need to increase our threat on the scheme. So it's going up to +2. So it's going from 3 to 5 because of the +1 here, which is brutal. And then Rhino is going to attack. We're going to go ahead and choose to defend again. So let's see what his boost card is. So it's a +1 to his 3. So he's going to hit me for 4. I'm going to defend 3, so I'm only going to take 1, so I'm down to 6. Vulture's going to swing into me and take me down to 3. And then we are going to pull our encounter card. Now, if it's a treachery, I'm going to probably spend a resource with the enhanced spider sense. So let's see what we get here. And it says, when revealed, you are confused. If you're already confused, this card gains surge. I'm going to go ahead and pay 1 from the web shooter. So we're going to take this down to 2, which is going to exhaust it. So we're going to go ahead remove that false alarm, and that's where we're going to be. So we'll ready up, and let's see. Man, we are in a tough spot here. Okay, we are going to pop the helicarrier. And I think Avengers Mansion is just going to have to go. We're going to spend 3, 4 to play Nick Fury. And it says, when Nick Fury enters play, choose 1. Remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. At the end of the round, if Nick Fury is still in play, discard him. All right, so usually I would draw a card with him, but I've got so much going on this board that it's kind of crazy right now. So we're going to go ahead and deal 4 damage to an enemy. So we're going to do the 4 to Vulture. We're going to clear him off the board. Then we are... Man, that's going to go to 7. That's tough. We're going to thwart for 2 to take this down to 3 to basically just buy us some time. We defeated a minion, so I'll exhaust Interrogation Room to remove 1 from a scheme. Let's remove it from... Oh, that's right. I can't remove it from here. So that's still 5 because of the crowd control. Okay. We removed him. We'll play interrogation room. We'll remove crowd control. Got to think about the order of operations in this game. And then what do we want Nick to do? So that's gone. We're still going to want, because that's going to go to 7. That'll pop to 7 if we don't do anything. Man. We're just going to go, we are going to do the 2, take that down to 3, and Nick will go, because he'll take consequential damage. He'll go to 2. And I guess what I should review on that is if you look at your ally cards on the thwart and on the attack, and they don't always have these, but they'll have like this little icon below them. That means if you use that ability, they're going to take 1 consequential damage to their health. So since I'm thwarting with Nick, he's going to go from 3 to 2. And I think that's probably the best we could do. So we're going to draw cards. So we got Aunt May, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is looking better. We're looking better. Did we get anything? Can't really do anything right now with any of these. So got that. We'll ready everything up. Increase the threat here, so to 5 again. And this is, we got to get that threat down. Rhino will pull his boost card. We're gonna defend with Nick because we know that after this phase, right, this whole round, he will go away. So why would I not use him? So Rhino's gonna hit for 3 plus 0. So he's basically gonna kill Mr. Fury or take Mr. Fury off the board. I'm okay with that. We get to draw a card. I'll keep remembering that. The initiated attack, we get 4 justice. And let's see, now we're going to get to the R encounter card. So we pull a Rhino. Attach Rhino. When any amount of damage would be dealt to Rhino, place it here instead. Then if there is at least 5 damage here, discard armored suit. So Rhino got a little bit of a buff. So let's make a little room here. So he's basically got an extra 5 hit points. He's really at 20 right now. But that's okay. I think we're doing all right. We're kind of holding on to the board here. So we did the encounter. We're good there. I think we're good. So we're going to go ahead and get to the player turn here. So what do we want to do now? We got more web shooters for more resources. We got Daredevil. We got Aunt May, which is great because she's going to be able to heal me. So we definitely want to get Aunt May down. So we're going to pay 1 for Aunt May. Put her in the support row here. Let's go ahead and pop the helicarrier to make web shooters free. So that's going to give me some more resources to spend. Man, do I want to pay? What do I want to do here? I don't think I'm going to be able to get Daredevil down, but paying to get some more threat down might be pretty good. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to pay the 2 for that from each of these guys and exhaust them. So it's going to let me take 3. So we're going to take this down to... do I do that or do I take it off? Or do I take it off here? Thus getting my card back. That goes to 6. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this off. Getting the side scheme off the board, I think, feels like the more important thing. So we'll get our card back, and what do we get? Oh, we get a swinging web kick. Great. And then we've got Spider-Man at 3 health. But I have to keep him up, because if I go down, he'll scheme. Shoot, I think that's just what we're gonna have to do. We're going to thwart, take that down to 4. The +1 goes away. And that's all we're gonna do. So we'll drop our cards to 5. Nothing cooking for us there. We're gonna ready up. Man, this is dangerous. So we'll pull Rhino. We're just gonna go ahead and defend. Hopefully this is enough. Okay, so swoop. It says we've got the boost. When I was telling you about the star, you got the boost icon. So there's text below the line. So this is the boost line, as opposed to if it was just pulled during my encounter card, I'd read this. It says, if this activation deals damage to a friendly character, then stun that character. Which it's going to do. Actually, I'm not going to take damage because I'm defending. Because I defended for 3, he's attacking for 3. So I will not be stunned, so that's a good call. So I take no damage, I'm not stunned, that's great. We'll draw our encounter card. And I forgot to take this to 5. Let's get that to 5. Counter card is Bomb Scare. Place +1 at the start of the villain phase. Man, we cannot catch a break with this threat stuff. So every time we got the +1 again. This is not looking good, guys. He's a 2, but per character add 1 threat, so now it's a 3. We've exhausted Spider-Man. All right, we're gonna go to the player turn. What are we gonna do here? Okay. All right, we're gonna pop Helicarrier to make Daredevil cost 3. We're gonna spend 2 out of each of these, so that one's exhausted. He goes down to 1. So we need 1 more resource. I'm gonna go ahead and play Tenacity to give us the total of 3 now. We're gonna drop Daredevil in. And then what are we gonna do here? We're gonna have Daredevil thwart for 2. So I'll take a damage, he'll go down to 2. He can... Oh, we can't. Because that's going to go... Okay. Okay. So I'll take this down to 3. He takes the 1. We get to do 1 damage to a villain. So we'll put 1 here, because remember, once this goes to 5, it goes away. I think we're going to end up blocking with Daredevil. So we're going to spend 1 to play First Aid to give a hero 2 hit points. So we'll take that to Spidey. We'll take him up to 5. We're going to hold on the Swinging Web Kick. And then we'll deal up 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to ready up. Oh, boy. Let's see. So we know we need to increase this by 2, so this now goes back up to 5, the never-ending story there. Get the boost card for Rhino. I mean, we are going to block. I just think that's what we got to do. So Stampede is a boost of 1. So Rhino's going to hit for 4. He's going to take out Daredevil, Daredevil leaves the field. We'll take our encounter card. I don't think I have anything. I've got nothing to defend there, so let's see what we get. It says, when revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. If no damage was healed this way, the card gains Surge. He's not going to be healed, so for Surge means we just draw another card. And we pull a minion, a Hydra minion, which has Guard. While this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. All right. And he comes in and he's got 3 health. Okay. All right. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Okay. So it's our turn. We'll pop Helicarrier to make Black Cat. Man, I feel we just got to stabilize this board. We're gonna make Black Cat cost 1 and pay 1 to bring her down. She's got 2 hit points. It says, after you play Black Cat, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, and each card with a Genius resource discarded this way put into your hand. Wild card. I don't know if a wild card... I don't know if that counts. I feel like it should, but I don't know, so we're going to play like it doesn't. If you know, put it in the comments. I'll look it up later, but I'm not sure. Now what are we going to do? Man, do I have to discard these 2 to give him some more thwart? Pay the 2. We're going to give Spidey Heroic. Actually, let's keep Mockingbird. We'll pay 1, the last one off the Web Chaser, because keeping an ally will be good. We'll put her down. Put that down and gain 1 plus 1. Play that goes to 6. If I pull Treachery, any schemes? All right, I think what we're going to do with Spidey, we're going to thwart. So we'll take on this one, 1 plus 1 to take it from 3 to 1. And man, for Black Cat, we're going to do the same. So she'll take a damage. She'll go down to 1. We'll remove this guy off the table. Remove the plus 1. And then that's all we can do. So now we're going to draw up. And we're close. We only got 1 card left in our discard, which means that increases that. So, man, okay. All right, we got some decent cards, but nothing that's going to help us right now. So let's ready up. And let's see. So this now goes to 6. Oh, sorry. We're going to pull the boost card. Do I take the damage? Keep Black Cat around? He could hit for 3. I only got 5. I don't think we're just going to defend with Black Cat. So whatever this is. So 3. Got a boost of 1. So he's going to hit for 4. Black Cat is off the table. Our minion's going to hit for 1. Take us down to 4. So he's exhausted. And now we'll pull our encounter card. It says, Got Stampede. Rhino attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, that character is stunned. Okay, so. Man. So we got one card from Rhino attacking and being blocked, and now I'm out of cards. So I need to shuffle the deck. So we'll shuffle up. Since I ran out of cards, I get an encounter card. So those are shuffled up. And now our other encounter card, let's see, when revealed, deal 1 damage to each hero. So we got Shocker, so we go down to 3. And that's that, so we'll ready up. And let's see what we got here. Man, I'm not sure what we're going to do here. All right, so we got a couple double resource cards. We've got some... Okay, so this is looking better. We got a couple allies we can drop down. So what do we want to do here? We need to get this scheme down for sure. So... Man, I'm only at 3 health. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to thwart with Spidey to take this down from 6 to 4. We are then going to pop Helicarrier to get Jessica Jones down for a cost of 2, which we'll pay for with a Strength double resource card. So that's good. And then let's get a Mockingbird down for 3, so we'll pay with a Genius and a Great Responsibility that I was lucky enough to draw. So we got a couple allies on the board. This is looking better. We'll keep the Swinging Web Kick for the 8 points of damage, so Spidey's gone. When Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. Who do we want to stun? I think we got to stun Rhino, so we're going to stun Rhino. And I don't know if we've covered this yet, because I don't think this has come up. But within the game, there are 3 effects. You've got Confused, Tough, and Stunned. Stunned means you can't attack. Tough means you basically absorb 1 damage and remove this. And Confused means if you're a villain, you can't scheme, and if you're a hero, you can't remove threat. And what you can have happen is you can have all 3 of these. You can have 1 of each, but you can never have more than 1 of a given one, right? So you can't have 2 stuns or 2 toughs or whatever. So you can have up to 3, 1 of each, but never more than 1 of a given one. So we are going to, I think Rhino, we're going to stun because that's kind of our biggest threat. So I don't want him to be able to attack. So that's from Mockingbird. Next up, let's just go ahead. We're going to go ahead and take out the Hydra Mercenary. So we're going to have both Jessica Jones and Mockingbird attack. And remember, they're each going to take a damage. So she's going to have 2 left. She's going to have 2 left. He's going to take 3 damage. So he's going to be gone. And then we're going to pop Interrogation Room. Because after a minion leaves, I can remove a threat. So we're going to take this down to 3. So that's looking good, or better at least. And we're going to go ahead and stand pat. We got our Swinging Web Kick. So we're going to drop our hand 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we got a backflip, which is great. Swinging Web Kick, and we got Black Cat again. Now, a thing to call out is when it comes to allies, I've already got 2 on the board. You can only have a maximum of 3 allies. I know there is a card somewhere in one of the sets that lets you have 4, but by default it's 3. And you can only have 1 ally of the name out per table, right? So if I'm playing just my game, that's fine. But if you have multiple players, if you have a unit or a card that's got this little asterisk up here, or this little star sign, It means it's a unique unit, and you can only have one copy of that on the table at a time. Now, each player can have a copy of it in their deck, for sure, but you just can't both play it at the same time or have it on the table at the same time. All right, so this is looking okay. So we got backflip, we got black cat, we got swing kick. So what we're gonna do is we'll ready up. Because he's stunned, so I feel like... So we increase the threat. This now goes to 4. He's stunned, so he can't attack, so we remove that. And now the question is, do I defend? He hits for 2 with Mockingbird and Jessica Jones, or do I defend to exhaust? Or do I spend a backflip? You know, I think no, because then if we draw an encounter, man. We're going to go ahead and block with Mockingbird, his attack. So he's going to hit for 2 and take her out. And that's him. And then now we need to pull our encounter card. Pull that up. Says, when revealed, give Rhino a tough status card. Okay, that's okay. We can deal with that. So tough means, again, remember, next time he takes damage, it's basically wipe. So he is between tough, the suit of armor, his full health, like he is doing okay. He's doing all right. All right, so player phase. What are we going to do here? We're going to pop Helicarrier to make Black Cat count as 1. We'll pay with it with Treachery, or Tenacity, excuse me. And then she gets to draw 2 cards. If they're Genius, I got to put in my hand. Haymaker is not, and neither is Spider Tracer, so we come up empty there. That's okay. Man. We're going to get rid of the Shocker, I think. I think that's the best call here. So we'll have Jessica Jones and Black Cat attack for 3 to remove the Shocker. Or Shocker, I should say. She would go from... She'd go to 1 left, and Black Cat would go to 1 left. And let's see, what do I want to do here? I feel like I want to get rid of... Oh, we'll pop the interrogation room to take this down to 3. We're going to thwart with Spider-Man to take this down to 1 because we're thwart for 2. We'll flip down to Peter Parker. And we'll pop Aunt May to heal for 4 to take us to 7. And I think that's going to do it. So we've got 3 cards. We'll drop to 6 because Peter Parker has a 6. So there's 4, 5, and 6. All right, we got some Rhino swinging web kicks with the Rhino on there to see what he's got coming. So that's okay. So we'll ready everybody up. This is going better. We definitely had to work through this. Rhino will get a boost card. Schemes for 1 plus 2 more, so 3. So we'll take that to 4. Oh man, that threat goes up fast. We'll bring our counter card out. Oh, eviction notice. Exhaust Peter Parker, remove eviction notice from the game, discard one card at random from your hand. This card gains surge, discard this obligation. Oh, man. We're going to do the discard. I'm not sure what the best thing is here, but I want to be able to pop up. So we'll shuffle these around. Discard a card, and this backflip. I did not want to see that, but that's okay. And then discard a card around your hand. This card gains surge. So we'll draw another card, and Rhino gets the ivory horn, which gives him +1 to attack. So he's now hitting for 4, but I guess that's okay. I wanted to make sure I could use Peter or flip up to Spider-Man. All right, let's see what we can do now. All right. Let's exhaust Aunt May to heal me back to 4, which will take me to full health. So I'm up to 10. So that gives us room to breathe. We will spend Peter Parker's free resource to put web shooters down. All right, this is looking better. It's looking better. We're going to go ahead and flip up. Now what do we want to do? Now what do we want to do? We're going to go ahead and attack with Black Cat. Now she does not pay any consequential damage for attack, so she's going to go ahead and attack Rhino because I want to get this tough off. Or can I? Would it go to the tough or would it go to the suit? When any amount of damage would be dealt to Rhino, place it here. I'm assuming it's going to go here. So he's got 4 out of the 5. She hits for 1, so that's going to take it down to 3. That's tough. That is tough. Okay. Jessica Jones. So she hits for 1 or 2. He hits for 2. I gotta get this off here. All right, she's gonna hit for 2. Taking her off the board, that's going to take this down to 1. We're going to have Spidey hit that for the 2 to remove it. Man. We're going to pop this, we're going to take it down to 2. We're going to pop Helicarrier, so that's going to basically give us 2 resources. We're going to spend 2 more. We're going to play Webbed Up. What Webbed Up does, it's an enemy upgrade. So the next time he attacks, the attack won't go through and he gets stunned. What it says is when attached, enemy would attack, discard Webbed Up instead, then stun that enemy. So that's going to help us through the next phase. And I think that's all we're going to be able to do. Let's deal up our cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. So for Justice, help us with some of that threat. Swinging Web Kick. I want to get this tough off and I can start doing some damage here. But this has been a slog, but we're looking better. Okay. So we're going to ready up. Ready up. And Rhino would attack. We're going to discard this, the Webbed Up, and then now he's going to be stunned. So we basically get 2 free rounds, which is great. And then, we need to take that +1 to 5. We'll take our Spider-Man encounter card, which is Sandman, which comes in and it says, when he comes in, he's going to get a toughness. So we'll go ahead and put that on there as well. So he's a 2-3-4 with toughness. But I think we're doing all right. Okay. All right, our turn. So what are we going to do? That's up to 5 now. Pop Helicarrier, and then we're going to pay 1 more for justice. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, 4 instead if you paid for this card using a genius resource, which we are. So we're going to be able to take 4 off here, which is fantastic. So we'll go to 5 to 1. Do I deal with? I gotta deal with Sandman. Let's deal with the Sandman. Okay. Sandman. Black Cat will attack for 1. We'll take the tough off Sandman. Again, she gets that for free, so there's no harm, no foul there. Spider-Man only hits for 2. It's going to take 3. I don't want to waste the web kick on that. Spider-Man's going to hit him for 2, so we'll go from 4 to 2 left. I think we're gonna sit tight with these 3. So 3 or 4, 5. Okay. All right. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So we're ready up. Cat's still at 1. She's doing work. Okay. Rhino would attack, but he's stunned, so we'll clear that. Sandman will attack. I'm not going to block or defend. I'm just going to take the 3 hits. So we'll go from 10 to 7. And then we'll draw our encounter card, which is when Rhino attacks, the attack. Okay, so he gets charged. So next round, he is going to have overkill, which is not going to be good. But we'll be okay. All right. And so that's the villain. Oh, take this from 1 to 2. All right. Let's start doing some work. Got these swinging web kicks in here. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Okay. So we're gonna pop Helicarrier. We're gonna play Spider Tracer for free. Basically, when a minion is defeated, I can remove 3 threat from a scheme. We're going to, well, first thing, we're going to go ahead and have Black Cat attack to remove the tough from Rhino. We'll have Spider-Man attack for 2 to remove Sandman and clear all the threat from the main scheme. Yeah, let's do that. We'll spend 1, 2, 3 for swinging web kick to do 8 damage. So we're gonna get Rhino from 15 down to 7, which is like the lowest we've had him, which I'll take. And then I don't think we can do anything else. So let's drop our hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Surveillance team, heroic, power. All right, nothing super sexy there, but let's go ahead and ready up. And we'll add our threat. We'll pull our boost card. So Rhino's gonna hit for 3, 4, 7. And this has got overkill. So plus whatever potentially is on this boost card. So I'm going to definitely be blocking. I mean, it's only going to take off 1. how much is he hitting for? 3, 6, 7. So that could be like 9. Ooh, this is tough. What would do I have anything in here to help me? This could be game. This could be game. Blocking with her was only going to save me 1. So that, I mean, all right. So we're just going to have to defend with Spidey. Man, okay. So what do we get? And he gets a +1, so that was a good call. So he's hitting for 3, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to block 3. So I'm going to take 5. So I'm down to 2. And then I pull my, and charge goes away, because that's a once use thing. And now I'm going to pull my encounter card. Oh my gosh. And what do we get? When revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. Okay. So he's going to go up to 11. 11. Okay. Man, a lot of work this game. Okay. All right, we made it though. We made it through. So now we're at, now what are we going to do? Okay, so we're sitting here. He's exhausted. We're going to have her attack for 1. We're going to get this off the field. We're going to pay 1, lose him. Pop Helicarrier and spend 1. So that's our 3 total for swinging web kick. So we can do 8 damage. 8 damage, take him down to 2. Oh man. Oh, we're getting so close. I'm then going to pay the Power of Justice, which lets me spend, remember if I pay yellow, I'm going to get cost for 2. I'm going to play a Surveillance Team with that. It gets me 3 tokens here. We're going to exhaust that from 3 to 2, take 1 off, clearing that out. Oh my goodness, we'll go ahead and swap or flip down to Peter Parker. We'll pop Aunt May for 4, taking us to 6. Oh my gosh. And then we're going to draw cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because we're on Parker's side. This is looking good. We've got no threat. We've got good cards. Okay. So we're going to ready up. Support. And then what are we going to do? Oh, he's going to scheme because I'm in alter ego form. So +1 to the scheme. Pull out our boost card. Does not have boost on it. So he's going to scheme for 1. Taking us to 2. We will play our encounter card, and it says when Rhino attacks, so he gets charge again. Wow, how many of these charge cards are we going to pull? All right, so Rhino is back to swinging for 7. But it's not going to matter. And it's our turn. And what are we going to do? We're just going to flip up to good old Spidey. And we're going to punch good old Rhino right in his nose for 2 damage, thus sealing us the victory of our first teaching game of Marvel Champions. Wow. I don't know if I didn't think we were going to make it through that one, meaning when, but that was a lot of fun. Obviously the pre-con decks are not the best decks in the game. I just wanted to show you what was built into the game. I will obviously start looking at trading these around. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned to the channel for more Marvel Champions content as well as additional Star Wars content as we get that going. But I welcome any thoughts or comments down below. I am sure I missed a few things or I did a few things wrong. So I welcome, constructive and positive feedback in the bottom. But until the next video, have a great day.